A lot of people have been asking me why I'm doing this for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, why I'm raising money for them, if that's not the kind of cancer I had. I don't tell this story very often because I don't like the ending. And unlike my own story of cancer, it doesn't end with me being able to be strong. When I was in junior high school, probably in 7th or 8th grade, my mom and I were watching a TV movie one Friday evening probably about a girl who had been diagnosed with leukemia. And at the end of the TV movie, it flashed on the screen that there are not enough bone marrow donors in the world and to donate or to join the bone marrow registry. And I thought about that. And when I turned 18, about 4 days later, I was in college and there was a bone marrow drive. And of course I signed up because I'd been waiting until I turned 18 to get on the bone marrow registry. And when they gathered us all into the room at the beginning, they walked us through the process and they said, "Don't worry, you're going to be on the bone marrow registry, but it's so unlikely that we'll ever call you." And I remember thinking at the time, "Oh no, you'll call me. I just know. I've known this since I was a kid." And they did. When I was 26 years old, I got a phone call that I was a perfect match to a man. He was 30 years old. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma and he had failed all his chemotherapies, but I was what they considered a perfect match. I went and I got more testing and I was still a perfect match. And they asked me to be in a holding pattern to wait for transplant until he got healthy enough to receive the transplant, because it can be really brutal on both the person giving the bone marrow and the person receiving. So they said, just please try and stay healthy, don't take up risky behaviors. Then I was willing to do whatever it took, because I felt like this was what I was supposed to do, and I'd known it since I was a child. And while I was in that holding pattern, I was diagnosed with cancer myself. And I cried for myself for about 10 minutes until I remembered this nameless guy who'd been counting on me to stay healthy. And then I cried for him because I knew the next morning I was going to have to call. And someone was going to tell him that he couldn't have the bone marrow transplant that was going to save his life. Someone was going to have to tell his wife. I made a promise to him that I would save his life, and I couldn't keep that promise. I'll never know what happened to him. I'll never know if somebody else was able to do what I couldn't do. But I'm doing this because if I couldn't save his life, I'm hoping that maybe I can save someone else's. Because I owe that to him. Because I made a promise. So to those of you who have already helped me, thank you so, so much. To those of you who are thinking about it, I so appreciate your friendship and your support in this. It really does mean a lot to me. It's something that I think about all the time. And I know that I was asked to do this so that I can finally make a difference for someone the way I could not make a difference for that man several years ago.